Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Punjabi Hari. Jai Mr. Paramahamsa Purajakacharya Ashtotar to the Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Purajakacharya Ashtotar to the Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Page 481. 481. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this 17th day of March 2020 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we are in the 11th chapter entitled The Universal Form. Text 34 on page 481. Dronam cha bhishmam cha jayadratam cha Karnam tathanyan api yodha viran Maya hatang stram jahima vyatishta Yudhyasva jeta sivane sapatnan Dronam cha bhishmam cha jayadratam cha Karnam tathanyan api yodha viran Maya hatang stvam jahima vyatishta Yudhyasva jeta sivane sapatnan Dronam cha bhishmam cha jayadvatam cha Karnam tathanyan api yodha viran Maya hatang stvam jahima vyatishta Yudhyasva jeta sivane sapatnan Dronam cha Bhishmam cha Jayadrattam cha Karnam tathanyan api yodha virhan Maya hatang svam jahima vyatishta Yudhyasva jeta sivane sapatnan. Go ahead. You want to try? Go ahead. Dronam cha Bhishmam cha Jayadrattam cha Karnam tathanyan api yodha virhan Maya hatang svam jahima vyatishta Yudhyasva jeta sivane sapatnan. Gosh. Dronam cha Bhishmam cha Jayadrattam cha Karnam tathanyan api yodha virhan Maya hatang tvam jahima vyatishta Yudhyasva jeta sivane sapatnan. Any ladies want to try? No? Okay. I'll read the synonyms. Dronam cha, also Drona. Bhishmam cha, also Bhishma. Jayadrattam cha, also Jayadratha. Karnam, Karna. Tata, also Anyan, others. Api, certainly. Yodha Virdan, great warriors. Maya, by me. Hatan, already killed. Tvam, you. Jahi, destroy. Ma, do not. Pratishtaha, be disturbed. Yudhyasva, just fight. Jeta asi, you will conquer. Rane, in the fight. Sapatnan, enemies. Translation. So first of all, just the context. This is Krishna speaking in the form of the universal form as time. It's a very frightening aspect. And he's encouraged Arjuna to fight, become his agent, and now he's explaining they're already killed. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight, and you will vanquish your enemies in battle. Purport. Every plan is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he is so kind and merciful to his devotees that he wants to give the credit to his devotees who carry out his plan according to his desire. Life should therefore move in such a way that everyone acts in Krishna consciousness and understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of a spiritual master. The plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are understood by his mercy, and the plans of the devotees are as good as his plans. One should follow such plans and be victorious in the struggle for existence. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmidatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto him and all members of the Sri Parampara, the disciplic succession. Hare Krishna. So there's some wonderful, I don't want to say theatrics, but tremendous display of the power of God in this chapter, more so than any other chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Can you close that door? It's a little chilly. And here, it's kind of come to a climax here. Arjuna is seeing this universal form with hundreds of faces and brilliant as thousands of suns having arisen. The description is, hair-raising practically. And finally what happens is that Arjuna expresses his trepidation. He sees, there's one verse here where he says, all the sons of Dhritarashtra, this is text 27, just a translation, all the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings and Bhishma Deva and Drona and Karna, and our chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouths, and some I see trapped with their heads smashed between your teeth. This is Arjuna's watching all this. And as the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths, as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays. O Lord of Lords, O so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisance to you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. And previously he expressed his fear and trepidation. This is what's especially interesting about this is that this is a transformation of Arjuna's relationship with Krishna. He's already gone through one transformation. You remember back in the second chapter, 7th verse, was a critical verse where Arjuna, the first chapter, he's arguing with Krishna. He doesn't want to fight. You know, the battle is about to begin. There's all of these akshauhinis, akshauhinis, a certain number of elephants, horses, infantry, and cavalry. They're all waiting. And Arjuna says to Krishna, who's taken the role of his servant as the chariot driver, please bring my chariot, take my chariot between the two armies. There's a little no man's land there between the two armies. I want to see who's ready to fight, who's so eager to fight. And he looks out on the other side and he sees, first of all, his beloved military teacher, Dronacharya, and he can't be the actual physical grandfather because Bhishma Deva took a vow of celibacy his whole life. But he's regarded as the grandsire of both sides. You know, he's highly respected, tremendous warrior. He's on the other side. And so many relatives and friends and everything. And even the sons of Dhritarashtra, Arjuna doesn't want to kill, even though they tried to kill him so many times. So he becomes paralyzed. He says, who cares about this kingdom? I'd rather go off to the forest and beg than if I win the kingdom, it'll be soaked in the blood of the people who I love. What's the point? You know, from a material point of view, he was right. But the point is that the whole thing was arranged by Krishna to reinstitute dharma in the world in the person of Yudhishthira. You know, because that's why he comes. Yadahi dahi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. Text chapter 7, text 4. Chapter 4, text 7, excuse me. He said, why do I come? Why do I appear in this world? So whenever there is an upsurge of irreligion in the world and the irreligious have become prominent, I appear, I manifest myself, and I protect the devotees, I reinstitute real dharma, and I annihilate the miscreants. So this is, you know, he did that from his childhood. You know, he's killing so many demons who want to try to kill him in Vrindavan. You may know the pastimes. But you know, then when he left Vrindavan, whole armies, Jarasan 18 times, you know, it's a big burden. So a lot of the later Leela, you know, there's some very sweet Leela with the queens and Rukmini, you know, but there's a whole lot of fighting the demons, reinstituting Dharma. So now everything is set, and Arjuna is a key element of that. He's the main fighter on the side, the righteous side. But he's paralyzed because his gut reaction is, I don't want to, you know, kill all these people who I love, who I have this relationship with. But I know that Krishna wants me to. So he's in this dilemma, this paralyzing dilemma. He drops his bow, he sits down on the chariot, and then he's at a loss. What's he going to do? So he was speaking with Krishna, but only on kind of a material level. You know, the chariot driver is meant to buck up the courage of the chariot fighter, of the warrior. So Krishna was speaking like that. How will these impurities come upon you? Get up and fight. You know, your enemies will, you know, deride you and insult you and everything. And nothing worked. So finally, he changes the relationship. This is the point. In text 7, he says, now, you know, I realize I'm paralyzed. I've lost my nature as a warrior due to this miserly weakness. So forget about that. I'm now approaching you as a guru. I'll be your shishya. It's a different relationship. The shishya means one who agrees to be controlled. The very root of that word is shas. It's the same root for the words shastra and shastra. Shastra is like Bhagavad Gita, what we read. And you're meant to approach it with the same attitude. Oh, follow the instructions. I agree to be controlled. You know, Shastra is a weapon. You'd be forced to be controlled. And Shishya is someone who's a disciple of a guru who says, okay, I trust this person. He's going to give it to me as I need it, and I'm not going to argue anymore. So that's it. So then Krishna immediately chastised him. He said, you're speaking these learned words, you know, quoting the Vedas and everything, but you're lamenting for what is not worthy of grief. the physical body, where the soul is what counts, which cannot be killed. And then he goes a whole lesson on the soul. So that's one change. Now, this is another change of relationship, because suddenly the Krishna that he knows and loves, with that he's grown up with, that he's intimate friends with, has shown him another aspect, and it's a frightening aspect ultimately. And the aspect is time. Time is the destroyer of everything. The previous verse we had, text 32, Kalosmi lokakchayakrit pavido. Time I am, and I'm destroyer of all the worlds. I've come here to destroy everyone, with the exception of you, the Pandavas. Everyone else will die. And then the previous verse we had, therefore get up and fight. Win the glory, conquer your enemies. Be but an instrument in the fight. Nimitta matram bhavasadvisachan. And this is really, in one sense, an essence of bhakti. Is that where we dovetail, what does it mean when Krishna says, Sarvadam vidimame kam sharanam braja? Sharanam, take shelter of me, surrender to me. What does that actually mean? It means that we find out what Krishna wants of us and we do it. We change our behavior, we mold our life according to the desires of the Lord. That's what Arjuna wasn't willing to do. But Krishna says, Nimitta matram, you simply become my agent in this fight, and everything will turn out fine. You see? And so, and then he says, you can't save them anyway. My plan was to kill these other elements, Drona, Bhishma. Now, Bhishma is a great devotee. He's one of the 12 Mahajans who embody and carry the Dharma with them, And on the battlefield, it's a paradoxical thing. Bhishma's on the other side, because he was supported by Duryodhana, monetarily. So he felt I have to fight on his side. But his heart was really with the Pandavas, But then he proved his mettle by fighting. He said, today I'm going to fight because it's a great insult. He said, well, you're not fighting with your full enthusiasm because the other side, you love the Pandavas. So today, I'm going to kill Arjuna unless Krishna breaks his promise and fights. Because he said, I won't fight. I'll just be the chariot driver. So he did that. He fought so heroically. You've seen the painting. That painting is huge. I've seen the original. It's half the size of this, like one of these compartments here. Big. Of Bhishma Dev on the chariot. He's, and Arjuna has had to get off his chariot. For some reason, I think that he was stuck in the mud or something. Anyway, he was in danger of being killed, so Krishna picks up the wheel came off the chariot. Krishna picks up that wheel, and he's wielding it like his disc, coming at Bhishma Dev. And he says, oh, blessed, I'll be killed by Krishna, right? He doesn't have a weapon, although he apparently shot some arrows at Krishna, Anyway, this is and then finally, after the whole battle is over, Bhishma had a blessing from his father. You know the whole story, you seem to be familiar. That his father wanted to marry, what was her name? The fish lady. Satyavati, yes, yeah. And so the father was reluctant because he already had Bhishma as a son. And he said, well, he'll inherit the kingdom, and my daughter won't have, So Bhishma said, no, I won't marry, but you'll still, but your no, he said, I promise not to do it, but your children will get the good. So I take a vow of celibacy, which is a big deal, for life, for a Kshatriya, So then the flowers came down from the heavenly planets and everything. So his father, was so pleased with him. He said also that he could marry the girl that he loved. And so he gave him a benediction that you will not die unless you will to die. So there he is at the end of the battle, and he's on the battlefield, and there's a bed of arrows. It means he's shot through with arrows, but he's not dying. He's waiting for Krishna to come. And Krishna comes and stands there. Arjuna comes, he needs some water, he shoots an arrow in the ground, and Ganges comes up. And then Bhishma Dev, after instructing Yudhishthira, because Yudhishthira was mortified, all of this huge slaughter of and not just the human beings, but the animals, the elephants and the horses. And he said to Krishna, I won't be able to, I'm going to go to hell, and I won't get out of that hell for millions of years, all of the sin, this terrible, terrible sin. So he needed some preaching to, and Krishna could have done it, but he wanted Bhishma to do it. So they all went to, where Bhishma was lying there. And then Bhishma instructed him that, you did the right thing, and he gave him all kinds of instructions on how to run it's in Bhishma Parva. And then finally, in the Bhagavatam, that's just given in summary, his prayers at the end there, beautiful prayers. I memorized some of them. Near the beginning, a wonderful meter. You can imagine. Everybody's looking down, everyone's come down, all the great sages and everything. Krishna is there. That's the second one. So he's describing Krishna, he's seeing him now. He's the most attractive in all three worlds. Tamal Lavarnam, he has this color of a dark tamal tree. Ravikata Goda, Varambadang Dadane, Vabur, on his body, his garments, his silken golden yellow garments are shining like the sun. Ravi is the sun. Ravikata Goda, Varambadang Dadane, Vabur Alakulavatana Nabjam, his lotus face is framed by his beautiful curly locks, Ravikata Goda. Ravikata Gaurama Dadane, Vapot Alakulavatana Najam, Vijaya Sakhe. He's the friend of the victor. Vijay is a name for Arjuna, actually. Vijaya Sakhe, Ratarastame Navadya. Let my attraction, my love be drawn to him without being diverted to anyone else. He even remembers the gopis. He remembers the rasa dance there. Anyway, after a dozen or so prayers, then he's looking at Krishna and he leaves his body. Might as well. So it's very dramatic. But it was all auspicious, And even though he was killed, they know, from day one, they're not the body. The whole question is how you die, what you're absorbed in thinking when you die. And Krishna came to be in front of them, so he could easily absorb his mind in Krishna. Because they're all successful. So here, in the verse we read, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, in the form of this frightening universal form, I've already slain those who you are reluctant to fight against, So you can so you can simply be my agent, and you'll have all success. Everything will be blessed. But if you don't fight, then you'll be condemned. They're still, you won't save their lives, So that's what's going on here. The whole Prabhupada emphasizes the plans. When we give up our own plans for trying to manipulate this material world and take Krishna's plan. And he makes it very clear. It's simple. So many instructions. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, bow down to me, dovetail your desires and activities to me. How do I do that? You get an instruction from the spiritual master, you follow the Shastra. It's all programmed out and it's tried and true. So that's what the Bhagavad Gita is. And of course at the end Arjuna will agree that to be Krishna's agent. Okay, so that's the actual last verse that this Kala form, this universal form speaks. If there's any comments on that or questions, otherwise we can go on. Okay. Text number 35. Sanjaya vacha etat chutva vachanam keshavasya Gatanjali vepamana kiriti Namaskritva bhuya evaha krishnam Sagadgadam bhita bhita pranamya. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra. So Sanjaya is describing this whole thing to Dhritarashtra back at the palace. O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice as follows. Purport. As we have already explained, because of the situation created by the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna became bewildered in wonder. Thus he began to offer his respectful obeisances to Krishna again and again, and with faltering voice he began to pray, not as a friend, but as a devotee in wonder. So this is the rasa, he's in wonder. Okay. Arjuna vacha stane vishikesha tava pakirtya jagat parishyat janoradhyate cha Rakshangsi bitani disho dravanti. Sarve namasyanti cha siddha sangha. Arjuna said, O master of the senses, Rishikesh, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. Purport. Arjuna, after hearing from Krishna about the outcome of the battle of Kurukshetra, became enlightened, and as a great devotee and friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said that everything done by Krishna is quite fit. Arjuna confirmed that Krishna is the maintainer and the object of the worship for the devotees and the destroyer of the undesirables. His actions are equally good for all. Arjuna understood herein that when the battle of Kurukshetra was being concluded, in outer space there were present many demigods, siddhas, and the intelligentsia of the higher planets, and they were observing the fight because Krishna was present there. When Arjuna saw the universal form of the Lord, the demigods took pleasure in it, but others, who were demons and atheists, could not stand it when the Lord was praised. Out of their natural fear of the devastating form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they fled. Krishna's treatment of the devotees and the atheists is praised by Arjuna. In all cases, a devotee glorifies the Lord because he knows that whatever he does is good for all. So Arjuna is in a little different mood now. He's, as it's described, he's bitani, Vrikshandi bitani. He's seeing result of Krishna's presence. The devotees naturally glorify. Just like the curtains open and the first thing you want to do is have a kirtan, right? You keep having a kirtan. But make sure it's not on the floor, that sign. Yeah, sorry. Because Krishna naturally draws glorification. And there's a great pleasure in that glorification. That's the magic of kirtan. You don't know why, but it's a fact. Because Krishna is actually in our heart as well. You see, I once read how the worship, when you get on the altar, you're actually worshiping the super soul as well. And so there's a connection between the soul and the super soul that's also building as you look outside. It's a whole multi-level thing that's going on there. So the devotees naturally take pleasure in glorifying the Lord, and they become ecstatic. But the demons who challenge the authority of the Lord or even deny his very existence, they become angry, and then they become fearful, and they run away, especially from this form. It's so powerful form. So it's Krishna kind of, he makes you really look at where you're at. You understand, your real nature comes out when Krishna is present, and the pure devotee of Krishna. Okay, next. Kasmachate nanameran mahatman gariyase brahmano pyari kartre ananta devesha dagannivasa tramakshadam sadasat tatparang yat. O great one, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you? O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. By this offering of obeisances, Arjuna indicates that Krishna is worshipable by everyone. He is all-pervading, and he is the soul of every soul. Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Mahatma, which means that he is most magnanimous and unlimited. Ananta indicates that there is nothing which is not covered by the influence and energy of the Supreme Lord. And Devesha means that he is the controller of all demigods and is above them all. He is the shelter of the whole universe. Arjuna also thought that it was fitting that all the perfect living entities and powerful demigods offer their respectful obeisances unto him, because no one is greater than him. Arjuna especially mentions that Krishna is greater than Brahma because Brahma is created by him, Brahma is born out of the lotus stem, grown from the navel abdomen of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is Krishna's plenary expansion. Therefore, Brahma and Lord Shiva, who is born of Brahma, and all other demigods must offer their respectful obeisances. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that the Lord is respected by Lord Shiva and Brahma and similar other demigods. The word Aksharam is very significant because this material creation is subject to destruction, but the Lord is above this material creation. He is the cause of all causes, and being so, He is superior to all of the conditioned souls within this material nature, as well as the material cosmic manifestation itself. He is therefore the all-great supreme. So one of the aspects of this chapter, in context with the other chapters and the Bhagavatam and everything, is that devotees generally, we're not looking. I mean, the bhaktas are not, at least Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we're not really so attracted to absorb ourselves in this aspect of the Lord. The Lord is unlimitedly powerful. There's no question of it. And here He's showing His power, destructive power, in this battle. And Arjuna is recognizing all of that, the greatness and the power and the majesty of the Lord. But if you read, the life of Krishna in the 10th canto, you'll see that Krishna himself, he prefers being in Vrindavan. He takes the most pleasure in those intimate relationships. In fact, in the 4th chapter of the Adi Leela of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the life and teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says right out, he says, when my beloved gopis chastise me, that steals my mind away from the Vedas, the glorification of the Vedas. He much prefers that. And also, you can see we also much prefer it. We have so many relationships. You may have a relationship with your boss. Yes, okay. I'll try to be a good, you try to on time. There's not a loving relationship there, There's one of, it's a business relationship. And so many other relationships. But when you have your relationship with your children or your brother, your wife, boyfriend, whatever it may be, that's really what you like to think about. In other words, that's more attractive. Now, on the material level, it's Maya. But the idea is that there's a reason we can learn a lot from this material world and examining our own life, because it's a reflection of the reality of Krishna. And Krishna is most attracted by love. And that love is most powerful when people are not afraid. The fear actually destroys it. That's why there's this famous instance where Mother Yashoda looked into Krishna's little mouth to see if he had eaten dirt, and he showed the universal form. He showed the whole creation. And she said, "Oh my God, I've been thinking he's my son and Nanda's son." So Krishna immediately pulled the Yogamaya curtain so that she forgot that. And she think, "Why have you eaten dirt?" That she could tell. So this is, but it's important for people to realize. In other words, we don't ignore this aspect of Krishna, but we don't dwell on it. We much prefer to learn about, to cultivate our actual intimate relationship with Krishna. That's bhakti. Now, but this aspect is important, kind of to establish where Krishna is at, and who he actually is, and what his ontological position is. Because we in our completely illusion state, we're trying to imitate. We're trying to be little masters and controllers. And that's our disease, life after life. We need to be cured of that. And so part of it is to understand ourselves as very insignificant parts of the Lord. That our natural state is to be servants. But how that service manifests, it can be in a very official way, like Vaikuntha, where everyone knows who God is, and they're all happy in that relationship. Or it can be on a more intimate level as friends, mother, or even, lover. And that's ultimately the highest, which pleases Krishna the most. But here Arjuna is in the mood of glorification of Krishna as God, but eventually he'll say, "Can I please see The other form, your more intimate form. Enough of this. I know I asked for it, but now enough. Because okay. All right, let's do one or two more. Now this verse, next verse, has a special significance for me because it's one of the first verses I ever memorized. Somehow or other, this verse really caught my attention way back in 73 or 4. I think it was 73. I was reading this verse. I really like it. I memorized it. So. Tvamadi devak purushak puranas Tvamasya vishwasya padang nidhanam Vetasi vejam cha padang cha dhama Tvaya tatham vishwam ananta rupa. Arjuna said, you are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. Purport. Everything is resting on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, He is the ultimate rest. Nidhanam means that everything, even the Brahman effulgence, rests on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He is the knower of everything that is happening in this world, and if knowledge has any end, He is the end of all knowledge. Therefore, He is the known and the knowable. He is the object of knowledge because He is all-pervading. Because He is the cause in the spiritual world, He is transcendental. He is also the chief personality in the transcendental world. So, this is, some more description of Krishna. Tvaya tatam vishwam ananta rupa. Let's see, where did I? Oh yeah, it's text 40. One of the things that happened here, we go way back into the early 70s. I was kind of searching here and there, in the New York area, and I got involved with the Ramakrishna mission. You probably heard of it. Have you ever heard of it? Maybe it's not so famous anymore. But that was, about that. Yeah. And they have a beautiful facility there in New York. One of the first they established in America after Vivekananda's famous speech in Chicago in 1898, 96, something like that. Anyway, so I was going around and I got there, and the teacher there, Srila Prabhupada had met not the founder, but the leader of that mission up until the late 60s or early 70s, before I got there. But Prabhupada came in 65, and in 66 he was contacting different yogis and teachers in the New York area, and he was one of them. His name was Nikalananda Swami, or Swami Nikalananda. And he, by the time I got there, he had already retired, although he was still living there. He had a stroke and everything, and he would come to the dinner that we had at lunch, But a younger man, his replacement, was also there. And he would give a talk on the Bhagavad Gita. And he was very well-spoken, And I was impressed. I hadn't visited the temple yet. I didn't even know about the Hare Krishnas. And he would, before giving any class, he would chant text 40, which is just 2 verses hence, see? And he would go this, Sarvam Samapnoshi, you are everything. Because his whole idea is that you are everything, and it's kind of the impersonal thing, it's you are everything and we can merge with you and everything like that. So they'd like that verse. And somehow I wasn't so attracted to that verse, but a couple of verses back I was reading, Tvamadi Deva Purushak Puran. Anyway, this is a history. But these prayers are very well known because, Arjuna is, he's glorifying the universal form before, describing it. But here, he's glorifying Krishna in his most majestic form. That's the idea. Okay, let's do one or two more. Text 39. Vayu yamogni varuna shashanka. Vayu yamogni shashanka. Prajapatistram prapitamashascha. Prapitamahascha. Namo namaste su sahasra kritva. Punashta bhuyo pi namo namaste. A lot of obeisances going on here. It's 4 times. You are air, and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great-grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again, and yet again. Purport. The Lord is addressed here as air, because the air is the most important representation of all the demigods, being all-pervasive. Arjuna also addresses Krishna as the great-grandfather, because he is the father of Brahma, the first living creature in the universe. Okay, here we do. We'll do this one now. Namak parastad ataprishthataste namostate sarvata eva sarva ananta viryamita vikramastvam sarvam samapnosi tatosi sarva. Wow, a lot of sarvas in there. 4 in the whole verse. Hare Krishna, welcome. Jai Hare. Obeisance to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything. Purport. Out of loving ecstasy for Krishna, his friend, Arjuna is offering his respects from all sides. He is accepting that, Arjuna is accepting that he, Krishna, is the master of all potencies and all prowess, and far superior to all the great warriors assembled on the battlefield. It is said in the Vishnu Purana, 1969, Yoyam tabhagato deva samipam devataganaha sattvameva jagat srashta yatak sarvagato bhavan. Whoever comes before you, even if he be a demigod, is created by you, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, let's get through this. Now he's begging for forgiveness. Arjuna will say, "Oh, I was really disrespectful at times, you know." In other words, his friendship mood is completely destroyed here, and eventually he wants to get it back. Saketi matva pasabam yaruktam. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Saketi. Ajanata mahimanam tavedam. Maya pramadat pranayena vapi. Yaksha vahasartama satkritosi. Vihadashayana sabhojaneshu. Ekotavapyachyutatat samaksham. Samaksham. Tatshamahe tvamaham aprameyam. Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all these offenses. Purport. Although Krishna is manifested before Arjuna in his universal form, Arjuna remembers his friendly relationship with Krishna and is therefore asking pardon and requesting Krishna to excuse him for the many informal gestures which arise out of friendship. He is admitting that formerly he did not know that Krishna could assume such a universal form, although Krishna explained it as his intimate friend. Arjuna did not know how many times he may have dishonored Krishna by addressing him, "O my friend, O Krishna, O Yadava," etc., without acknowledging his opulence. But Krishna is so kind and merciful that in spite of such opulence, he played with Arjuna as a friend. Such is the transcendental loving reciprocation between the devotee and the Lord. The relationship between the living entity and Krishna is fixed eternally. It cannot be forgotten, as we can see from the behavior of Arjuna. Although Arjuna has seen the opulence in the universal form, he cannot forget his friendly relationship with Krishna. So this is like a critical point in our halting attempts to practice Bhakti Yoga. And that is to always remember that Krishna exactly reciprocates as we approach him. Yaya tamam papadyante, tam sataiva bhajamyaham. As all approach me, I reciprocate exactly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. Now some might say, "Oh, then that means you can worship anything and still get to Krishna. And you will get to, the aspect of Krishna whom you worship. It may be the external energy. People are worshiping the external energy in the sense that they're trying to find their happiness and their power and their strength, security in material relationships. So, but that is not a personal relationship with Krishna. That's not bhakti. That's illusion. That's maya. But it's still, on the larger sense, following Krishna's path. Whatever you do, if you ignore Krishna, now he's not going to ignore you completely. He'll be with you as a super soul. But you're not going to experience the personal aspect of Krishna. The whole point in Bhakti Yoga, in this aspect, this line especially, is to work with the material energy in such a way, under the guidance of the acharyas, those who have come before, so that we can use things like sound. There's a trillion different sounds you can hear, but if you hear the sound Hare Krishna, and you repeat it, then that Krishna has manifested in that name. And you can associate with Krishna through that name. And purify our heart and realize more and more of the personal aspects of Krishna. The deity, the temple. The whole idea is that we can't see pure spirit now. Our senses are so covered by illusion. So Krishna agrees to appear in a form that we can see and serve and reawaken our personal understanding of Krishna. And the more we become purified, the more we can relate to that form. Even to the point you hear so many stories that the deity will talk to you. There's a beautiful story about Lord Chaitanya, one of Lord Chaitanya's followers. Forgive me, I forget the names now. But the father had a son. They were both great devotees. So the son is kind of young, figured like 7 or 8, So they had deities. So the father says to the son, I have to leave now for some time, but make sure the deities get their prasadam and that they eat the prasadam. That he gets it. So the son, he had seen his father doing it, so he made the offering and everything. But he was peeking in. He says, he's not eating. Why aren't you eating? And so he was so pure that he actually ate. The deity ate. So the father comes back and said, what happened? You didn't make the offering. He said, no, I made the offering. He ate it. His father said, wait a minute. So he said, do it again. So he did it again, and again he ate. So the son was more advanced than the father, because he had full faith that Krishna would actually eat, the deity, see? So and there's other, beautiful stories. Shakshi Gopal, who walked, I don't know if we have time to tell those stories. But, so an elderly Brahmin and a younger Brahmin took a pilgrimage to Vrindavan, walking from Bengal. It's a long way. And the elderly Brahmin was very much helped by the younger Brahmin. The younger Brahmin was a Brahmin, but he was poor and wasn't so learned. And the elderly Brahmin was, from a rich family. So they got to Vrindavan, and the elder Brahmin says, oh, thank you so much, you helped me get here. And he says, no, it's just my duty, He said, no, I want to reciprocate you, so I'm going to have my youngest daughter marry you. And the other one said, no, you shouldn't, say that, because your family would be very much opposed, because I'm poor and you're from a wealthy family. Said, no, I'm going to. This is my decision. I'm going to do it. So they said, okay, if you really want to do it, then you should promise in front of the deity. So they did that. So they made their way all the way back to forget the town, and then the elder Brahmin went to his place, and the other Brahmin went to his place. And then the elder Brahmin told his family he had a son who was older than the girl, and his wife. He said, "Oh, I promised that our daughter is going to marry him." He said, "What? He can't. He's much poorer than we are, and he's not learned." And the wife said, "If you do that, I'll commit suicide." So he didn't know what to do now, So he didn't say anything. So finally, the young Brahmin comes and says, "What you promised in front of the deity? What's going on?" So while he's talking to the old man who wasn't saying anything, the son comes and threatens him with a stick, and he has to run away. Get out of here. You poisoned my father. You gave him some LSD. Prabhupada says the story on it, and you tricked him. So the young man calls all of the townsmen together. He said, "Well, this is what happened," and the young man denies it. So He said, no, he promised in front of the deity. The deity witnessed it. So the young Brahman, the son of the older man, he was an atheist. He said, okay, if Krishna comes to testify, you say he's a witness, right? Then I'll think everything is okay. Everyone agreed to that. The young man agreed because he knew that he said, well, Krishna will have to come, And the atheist son said, well, he'll never come. So that's everyone was satisfied with that. So he trekked all the way back to Vrindavan, and he said to Krishna there, and the deity, well, he promised before you, now I need you to bear witness, back in my hometown, 1,000 miles away, whatever it was. So the deity said to him, I'm a statue. How can I go anywhere? And so the man said, the young Brahmin said, look, if you can talk, you can walk. And Prabhupada said, oh, Krishna was defeated. So Krishna was defeated by logic. So he agreed to come. But he said, okay, you have to cook some rice for me every day and offer it, And you don't look back. If you look back while we're traveling, I'm going any further. You'll hear my ankle bells tinkling, you see? So you know I'm going. So he followed the instructions. He cooked the rice one day and offered it, and he heard the ankle bells all the way back. So they came back just outside the village, and then suddenly he couldn't hear the ankle bells. So he turned around, and he said, oh, I'm not going any further. He says, that's okay, you're still close enough. I'll bring all the villagers out here. So he went inside, and he said, well, Gopal has come. He said, oh, really? So all of it went outside, and there he was. So that way, everything was okay. They said, well, there's no way he could carry the deity. The deity must have walked. So they built a temple for him, the temple of Shakshi Gopal. Shakshi means witness, the witness Gopal. And there's some other stories like that too. Okay. Now we have to adjourn for the curtain will open in 5 minutes. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for coming.